Good morning, Steve. Good morning, T-Rex. You know what day it is? It's Monday, January 9th, and the sun came up at 7:12, earlier than 7:13 yesterday. The sunrise is getting earlier and earlier. Let's go look at the sunrise. Hey, wait. What in the name of Frosty the Snowman is going on out here? Did they say it was going to snow at my house today? No, they did not. I was watching the NFL football games yesterday, and the fine-looking meteorologists came on and said a little bit of light rain over Cape Cod, maybe, this morning. T-Rex, can I look at your back and try and gauge the size of these snowflakes? They're about a quarter the size of one of T-Rex's ears. What'd you do that for? Oh, clear the board. Yeah. So let's wipe and measure. But I can get an inch out of this, can't I? So I had a lot I was going to talk about, but I didn't realize there was going to be big, fat, fluffy flakes distracting me. I do recall, though, about 8 or 9 days ago on Twitter, that the people that are looking at the hoping for the snow were saying it was going to be a big snowstorm on Monday, January 9th. Actually, they say this is not a forecast. The guidance did show at one point a pretty good nor'easter for us today. Look at that. You know it's cold when the beach is even getting wet. I went to bed. It was a bright moon. White. I went to bed. It was a bright moon and there was frost. So what we have right here is a weak low pressure system, one of the sort of waves of energy that's going to emanate from the Pacific to the Atlantic. The major storms are coming into California, more on that in a second. And then they kind of fall apart and come across the country and then try and regenerate over the Atlantic Ocean. So we actually have Bombogenesis with this low of a 10-11 going off the mid-Atlantic this morning, forecast to be at 985 tomorrow morning south of Newfoundland. So that's 26 millibars in 24 hours, and that is Bombogenesis. So the guidance, usually when you see a big storm in the 8 to 10 day time frame, something does happen. So on a global scale, that was pretty good. It just misses New England by about 500 miles to the east. Although, does this really count as a miss? It's going in my book as at least a trace of snow. The radar says there's not much left in the tank here. Yeah, so it snowed all day Friday, and that would have been a few inches, but the ground was really warm. If the ground was that warm today, we wouldn't have any snow. So I'm going to probably put this in as a heavy dusting. It should be over just in a few minutes. Maybe I'll show the time lapse from my camera. All right, yeah, so back to the West Coast. Just an incredible array of warnings from the National Weather Service in Sacramento this morning. Winter storm warnings, high wind warnings, flood watches, and probably flood warnings coming in. There's been a series of storms coming in off the Pacific. Locally, up to 8 feet of snow in the Sierra Nevada. And it looks like the snow level is going up today to about 6,000 or 7,000 feet, and then it'll come back down. So below the snow level, a half a foot of rain is possible in the foothills, with a few inches possible in the valleys. So what is that system going to do? Well, part of it, the central part of the low pressure system actually lifts north along the west coast, doesn't even come inland, but it sends a wave of energy across the nation. And those waves of energy kind of disappear over the Rocky Mountains and the Central Plains and then kind of reappear on the East Coast. And the first little subtle wave of energy is going to get here about Thursday. So in the short term here in the Northeast, we're going to be cooling off. Maybe some small frog ponds will be good enough for ice skating here in a couple of days in Boston with a couple of cold nights. But certainly we're in a very warm January pattern, no question, running, 5 to 10 degrees above average per day. So there's some brief seasonable weather, and then a weak warm front's going to come in with a chance of some light rain or snow north on late Wednesday into Thursday. And once that energy gets here on the East Coast, it looks like it's going to max out on Thursday and Friday. Look at the 200 millibar flow. That's up around the top of Mount Everest. Air in Florida coming from Canada. Air in New England coming from Florida. So we're going to get colder air coming in on the backside of a Friday, mostly rain, it looks like now. Yeah, yesterday I did say the Euro adjusted south, and it certainly doesn't look as bad as a couple days ago, but it does look like it's going to go snow to rain even in our mountains Thursday into Friday, and then kind of go back to snow on Saturday. And the Euro says there's enough energy left in the tank that there could be some significant snow for much of the east Saturday night into Sunday. Moving target, we'll be watching that. So it looks like a warmer storm, unfortunately. Lincoln, New Hampshire, there it is, even at 40 degrees Friday. Boston in the 50s. See that little red squiggly at the bottom there? Chance of thunderstorms in eastern New England on Friday. And then the colder air comes gradually in over the weekend. So once this pulls out, a couple nice days, and then we may not see the sun from Wednesday afternoon till about early next week. There was a lot more I was going to talk about. You can see the clearing line. The sun is coming out today. It's just so fun to go out the door for weather and more and have those fat flakes, which incidentally have pretty much ended while we were talking. Light breeze from the east. Leave you with a little tracking in the mud yesterday. Frozen mud on Great Hill in the park, where that's either a really big dog or something other than a dog, leaving some of these prints among the TK and T-Rex and deer print yesterday on a beautiful Sunday. Days are getting longer. Sunrise today, 7:12. Sunset, 4:29. Length of day, 9 hours, 17 minutes. That's up from 7 hours and 4 minutes back just before Christmas. Almost time to take down the lights. T-Rex, come over here and see if you can smell a deer. Doing some tracking, not in the snow, but in the mud. That's clearly a deer. Let's see with the shadows. He comes along here. And then there's some big paws. Probably a dog, right? I can put down my glove for the size. Pretty big. 3 toes. What do you smell, Rex? What do you smell? What do you smell, Rex? What is it? What do we have around here? Fun to be back. It'll be more fun running in the snow. Maybe next weekend. Maybe Monday. Who knows? Weather is very unpredictable. But here we are, midday Sunday, last day of the NFL. I thought it was actually all done, so we get to watch some football today, Rex. Lazy indoor day as opposed to a lazy day in the tropics. Which actually, there were no lazy days because we were always on the move. Rex, what do you smell? Look at the size of that one. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a pad. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a pad. There's a little one next to it. Anyhow, there are some big things out here. There's the deer and the whatever. And a maybe big coyote or dog. Keeping an eye on you, Rex. Keeping an eye on you. Trying to stay safe. There's dangers everywhere we go in life. I don't think I'm in danger of a sunburn here in Boston, though, today.